We got to do a couple of things here on the program now of an entertaining fashion, but first a correction.
Oh,
A correction. Not us, somebody else. Somebody else has said something incorrect and we're going to correct them. Can we do that now?
sure. I don't know exactly what this is, but let's see where this goes.
Well, Uncle Dave proved he may be a small town bird journalist, but he is not an orthopedic surgeon. Because this was brought to my attention and I looked it up, and sure enough, there it was in this recent Wrestling Observer newsletter that he printed, recapping SummerSlam. He said some people were upset because for those who watch great matches, it really didn't deliver that. No, it just delivered boatloads of fucking money and sold tens of thousands of tickets. But he was talking about, well, some of the matches, because they didn't really deliver with the matches. Well, some of that, and this is a quote, some of that may be related to talent not at 100%. Rhea Ripley was kept from any significant physical activity and angles leading up to the match, and the match was built around her selling her shoulder, which still had a noticeable bump and clearly wasn't healed. Brian, I'm sorry, I'd like to be the one to tell Uncle Dave that once you separate your shoulder, that bump doesn't go away. It can be as healed as it's ever going to be. And depending on the person, sometimes it's more pronounced, sometimes it's less pronounced. But the bump exists for the rest of your fucking life. And I'm sorry, I know that Rhea's a star, and it was an important match, but do you think that even for SummerSlam, that they would let this woman that they have got a fortune invested in, if she wasn't that's what the meaning of medically cleared is. They used to, it was like, hey, Brett, can you go after surgery? Sure, Vince, I'll be there. But now they have medical protocols, and you have to pass certain parameters of range of motion or strength, gripping, or depend on what the injury is. You've got to goddamn go through some shit to show them that you're ready to get back in the ring. Is it as good as it's ever going to get? Probably not, maybe not. But it's not like she's not healed at all and there's still some major visible damage. That's not what the shoulder separation bump is all about. It doesn't go away when you get healed. It's yours. You can keep it. You would think he would know that, being Mr. Bodybuilding and all that stuff all his life. He looks like he's lifted the whole fucking planet.
Well, I don't know about that. And he does like lifting weights.
He looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Well, maybe he hasn't had any sports-related injuries due to that.
I thought you were going to say he looks so miserable because he hasn't had any, but...
You thought that's what I was going to say?
Well, it was leading in that direction, and then you took a turn on me. But anyway, it's just, again, because his friend's company is struggling at every metric and every parameter, and the opposition that he was rooting against all this time is now leaving everybody in the fucking dust and drawing billions and billions of dollars. He's like, well, yeah, disappointed people who were looking for great matches. Well, apparently there's more people who are looking for fucking logical, sensible shit performed by stars than his version of great matches. So he's got to fucking take this apart now. I just get cranky.
No, and you should probably break that down more. What is a great match? You know, Dave's star rating system is based on what Dave thinks. He could now say that sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, and I think the star limit is infinity, he said. So that means, 7.5 stars really ain't that impressive when you think about it.
To infinity and beyond and a half.
But those are his sensibilities. Those are what he thinks are great matches. When you and Norman Dooley were doing it, it was what you guys thought were great matches. what smart fans today or work rate driven fans think are great matches may be different than the people sitting in the building, because the average person who's not keeping up with all of this, with all of this, do you think they're sitting there going, yeah, this match just isn't that good? Or did they go, oh, that was great. Did you see what happened? That was great. So I think you have to really separate, and with AEW's issues beyond even Tony's booking with just the fan base they're catering to and the exposure of just how small and smaller it gets, but how small it is, you really have to think about what is a great match. And
Well,
I'm not saying Liv versus Rhea was the greatest thing ever, but to the fans that are, that's always the thing we say, like, this about a WWE thing, but the fans are eating it up. And that is kind of what matters. And it goes back to that whole Hogan versus Andre debate. Was there a long bear hug? Yeah. Could Andre do nothing? Oh, almost nothing. Almost nothing. But the fans there were going nuts. They loved it. So what's a great match? It's all in the eye of the observer, I guess.
Well, but there are different kinds of great matches for different people. But the problem that I have with what they think are great matches, maybe it's the same thing as if you're drunk in a bar and the fucking local band playing on stage, a couple of people in the band and your friends are all there and you're having a great time. And boy, that fucking guy, he can sing. He ought to be on goddamn television. He'd win a goddamn Grammy. But if a professional singer that had won a Grammy and was talented and experienced in that genre of entertainment was in that crowd, he'd think, what the fuck with this drunk fuck who's missing half the goddamn notes? And what I see, unfortunately, is Uncle Dave and the people of his ilk overlook all the sloppiness, overlook all the amateurishness, overlook all the nonsensibility. They want to see people flipping and flying and hitting and crashing and breaking furniture and doing the same shit everybody else does. And if they get 10 big holy shit spots in the goddamn course of the match, they will call it a great match, despite the fact that half of the thing looked phony as a football bat because they weren't really hitting each other and nobody knows how to grab a goddamn hold. So I don't know how you can call something great when they haven't mastered the primary qualification of a pro wrestler is that you're simulating combat, make it look good. They make it look like shit and it's obviously phony and people laugh at it. And then they start breaking furniture over each other's heads and it becomes a great match. That don't work for me, bro.
And again, you look at the runaway success of WWE right now. It's a formula. It's a formula that works, and it's a formula that works without giving away too much, and you're not hearing about fans coming away unhappy. It's such an interesting time. With AEW, they don't have that. There is no formula that works right now. There's nothing working. And, well, let's not go into that right now. Let's just finish what we were talking about with the shoulders. I just want to clarify what you're saying, because I'll be honest, I didn't really know this. But then again, I wasn't reporting on it and saying clearly, I think you're right, that was what he said, clearly she was hurt.
Clearly has not healed.
Because Rhea Ripley twice in that match did the spot where she put her shoulder back into place. And I remember that because I thought the second time was too much.
Yeah, second time was extraneous.
But she did that spot twice. You're saying the bump she had nothing to do with any of that. It was a real bump from a real shoulder separation.
Yes.
That's always going to be there, even if the shoulder is 100% healed in some form.
Yes, when the angle that they did, 2 months ago, or however long it's been with her and Liv, where Liv ran her into the wall, and basically Rhea was apparently either over exuberant or just hit it on the point or hit it the right way and separated her shoulder. And that bump is indicative of the separation and will be there from now on. Even but the shoulder will heal, but the bump is not going to go away. So I don't know what Dave's looking at. Oh my God, look at her shoulder. Well, I mean, maybe I've just stewed something off that they could have used for an angle. People would have believed it, but no, that's the way that happens.